The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this business.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Friday, April 2nd. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Tony Sanfilippo. Tony, how you doing today?
Good, buddy. It's Friday. It's the final day of the week, and we roll into Easter weekend. So got a little bit of an extended one coming, huh?
Nice, yeah, we're going to take Monday
3-day
off.
Weekend.
Exactly. So we can enjoy the weekend, get out there, spend time with the family. As your sweatshirt alludes to, we're going to be checking out the new episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I'm even going to try and get to the movies this weekend and see Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, Godzilla! Very, very Kong. Yeah, it's Falcon Soldier Friday. So representing with my gear, minus the hat. The hat's just kind of so the red, white, and blue hat I kind of have, except a Whataburger hat, but it looks really stupid on me, so I just don't want it.
Fair enough. Well, folks, let's go ahead and kick things off the way we do each and every day with a question from my co-host. And kicking things off right out of the gate, I do have to warn people.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Just for the next couple minutes. Tony, I'm going to ask you, what is the strangest sexual fetish you've ever heard of?
Oh, the weirdest one is the ones where there's the fans only that people pay for, like girls like used underwear. They'll wear it for days and then they'll sell them. It's like the more potent, the better. I don't know. That's the weirdest, one of the weirdest ones I can think of off the top of my head that I just find disturbing and just nasty. But there's girls that I know that do that. They sell it and they're just like, people pay. I'm like,
that's the thing. There's a market for it. So,
whoa.
If you can capitalize, go ahead and capitalize. Right?
Not money I'm spending on. No, sir.
Well, all that goes to say that here's a fetish I don't understand, but a husband made his wife pretend to be an amputee during sex and now wants to cut one of his healthy limbs off to satisfy his growing fetish. The man's unnamed wife wrote to the Abigail Van Buren Agony Aunt column after her husband asked her to cover up part of her leg with a towel during sex to make her look like an amputee. She said her marriage of 6 years was most blissful and that she had initially tried to maintain an open mind about her husband's fetish until recently. The U.S.-based woman wrote, 3 months ago, he asked to do some role-playing where we hid my leg under a towel to give the appearance of having a below-the-knee amputation, which he says is his favorite. I didn't like it, but I went ahead with it. But now things are getting to be too much for me. He recently told me that not only does he find amputees attractive, but he wants to be one. Van Buren's daughter, Jean Phillips, who now writes the column on behalf of her late mother, answered the concerned woman by explaining her husband's desire to remove one of his limbs is known as integrity identity disorder. She recommended the woman do further research on the desire, but also sounded a note of caution for the marriage. Phillips wrote, you should also consult a licensed psychotherapist to help you decide whether this fetish is something you are prepared to live with or it's time to end your marriage. A sexual interest in amputees is known as acrotomophilia, while the sexual desire to become an amputee is known as apotemnophilia. Boy, those are hard to say. Integrity identity disorder, the condition mentioned by Phillips in her reply, occurs when a person wants to remove one of their own limbs or paralyze themselves, although not necessarily out of sexual desire. The disorder is rare and has triggered ongoing debates among medical ethics experts. Boy, somebody like that, about whether anyone is ever entitled to ask for the amputation of one of their own healthy limbs. Opponents say anyone expressing desires to inflict such physical harm on themselves is likely not in a neurological state where they should be allowed to do so. What say you, Tone? Is that something you could see getting behind, or is that just a little too weird for you?
Nope, too much for me, man. It's just weird. It's weird stuff.
Yeah, there's a fine line between, a healthy sex life and, this, what did they call it? Integrity identity disorder, where, you want to inflict some sort of harm on yourself or your partner just to make them more sexually desirable. Just look at Armie Hammer and all of those tweets that are going back and forth.
Oh, yeah. Well, his career is toast. That's, I was reading, that's why the Death on the Nile, that movie's like in limbo big time just because he's one of the main guys in it. So it's like, maybe it'll see the light of day. I don't know.
I don't know, but strange nonetheless. But you know what, folks? It is Friday. It is the last day of the week, headed into a holiday weekend. And guess what? We lined up a wonderful show for you today. Let's talk about today's show, shall we?
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
We're looking forward to the weekend, but not before we bring you guys good news, everyone. We have a segment called Dog versus Cat People. Our call-in topic today is the best April Fool's pranks either you've pulled or have had pulled on you. G-Man is joining us with the G-Man's matchups. We're taking a look at the NCAA March Madness Final Four preview going on this weekend. We round out the day with This Day in History, and Tony is up next with the entertainment news. Folks, do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
Behold my process. Ooh, let me tell you something right here. It's the Loot Crate subscription box, full of exclusive loot, fun surprises delivered to your door every month.
Just pick up your favorite geeky genre, Daddy.
From the original Loot Crate, the Loot Crate Dex collectible boxes, dude. Cowabunga!
Ooh, the Loot Gaming video game box. Woohoo! Yee-hoo! Wowzers! With crits starting as low as $11.99 per month, there's a box just about for all collectors.
To get your geek on, head over to phoenixmedia.us/Loot Crate to claim your exclusive offer. That's FENIXmedia.us/Loot Crate. Great Scott!
Snap into a Loot Crate, dig it?
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at fenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show, and we have a little thing that we talk about each day. It is our 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. Maybe you're attracted to amputees and you can explain the fetish. Let us know about it. Give us a call at 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RDO or 855-336-4973. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together, put them out in a future show. Now, it is the second segment of this show, and you know what that means. Tony is here with the entertainment news.
April Fools, right? I had to unmute it there. So, welcome everybody. It is Friday, April 2nd, and here's your Filippo Fast 5. Godzilla vs. Kong debuted to a solid $9.6 million on opening day Wednesday. It'll be fun to talk about on Tuesday what it did over the weekend. HBO Max has given a series order to Head of the Class. It'll be a multicam reboot of the 80s sitcom about a group of overachieving high school students who meet their greatest challenge, a teacher who wants them to focus less on grades and more on experiencing life.
Nope.
I vaguely remember that show. I remember it being on HBO, but I don't remember too much about it.
We don't need another reboot.
Yep, but it's coming if you like that one. Ozark cast as Netflix drama is a good job that must come to an end ahead of the final season. So Ozark, great show, but it is coming to an end. The Forever Purge continues franchise's R-rated tradition with more blood and violence, as it was officially listed as an R-rated movie. Well, no duh.
Right.
And Steven Yeun to star in Jordan Peele's next movie. I hope it's like a horror type flick. That'd be really good.
Probably will be.
Glenn back in that kind of genre would be nice.
Well, and he was just nominated for a Golden Globe, was it?
And an Academy Award too. Yeah. Who would have thought Glenn from The Walking Dead? Crazy, huh?
Great actor, though.
Yeah, he very much is. That was it for the Filippo Fast 5. Then we roll on to the actual entertainment news. So it was announced last night, late yesterday, more or less, that DC canceled a few projects. So as the DC slate, some legacy development titles included New Gods in the Trench will not be moving forward. It looks like they want to do other partnerships for the DC stories, but the projects remain in skillful hands and maybe they'll move forward in the future. But as of right now, they've been canceled. There's some quotes here that says, "Tom, I loved writing New Gods with you." Looks like Ava Duvera said, "I'm upset with the saga of Barda, Scott, Granny, Highfather, and the Furies. They ends this way. Diving into Kirby's fourth world of adventure of a lifetime. This can't be taken away. Thank you for your friendship. And remember, dark sides." Okay. So that was their little tweet, but it looks like they were working on it. They had some scripts going, things ready to go, but then they just said, "Nah, we're not doing those." So
yeah, they touted Ava DuVernay as, the director behind New Gods. But I don't think it's a big loss that they're losing that in the Trench. I think DC needs to focus on their main core of characters. not like Marvel, where, you can grab obscure characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy or Shang-Chi and make something huge out of it. The obscure characters in DC, they don't work right now because the main characters don't work right now. It just doesn't make any sense. So,
right.
The Trench was a spin-off of Aquaman with those creatures from the deep. It was going to be a horror movie. Don't really need it. And then New Gods, again, were so obscure that most people only know Dark Side of the New Gods, and that's really about it. So knowing that Jim Lee is basically the new Kevin Feige of the DCEU, I have a feeling he had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, no, and that's a good call. And I agree with you on that. You definitely, if your main guys aren't working, then you can't really build a franchise. I think that whole thing just needs to be, unfortunately, it's so fresh, but you kind of have to reboot the whole thing.
Yep.
Almost. I mean, you can keep, obviously, you could keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I think that's fine. And Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I think you're fine with the casting of those characters. You just got to tell better stories, and they just got to be a little bit different. So,
bingo.
But that was it on DC. Another fun one I got yesterday was, we know that they announced the Obi-Wan Kenobi series this week, and we know Hayden Christensen's coming back. Well, there's, despite previous rumors, Jar Jar Binks missing, not to coming back. There was rumors Jar Jar Binks might come back in the Obi-Wan series. Ahmed Best, who voiced the character and provided motion capture, has confirmed that the polarizing Gungan will not be making a return. He took to Twitter to congratulate the cast, who was fully announced on Monday. And he said, "Congrats, my friends. Looking forward to seeing all these wonderful artists on screen." Following the tweet, a fan suggested that Best was playing coy about Jar Jar's return, but he made it clear that the character will not be appearing on the Obi-Wan series. If Jar Jar Binks was to return to the Star Wars fold, it would most likely would have been on the series. Jar Jar Binks made his first appearance in Phantom Menace, which introduced Ewan McGregor as a young Obi-Wan. I unfortunately just don't think they kind of just found a way to just dance off the side screen there. I don't think you need to have Jar Jar. That would probably be a little rough for the show.
Well, I, for one, am
disappointed.
No, seven tells me you're not really.
No, but I do love the fan theory that went around that Jar Jar Binks was really the Sith Lord that was pulling all the strings. If you get a chance, go over to YouTube and just look up Jar Jar Binks Sith Lord, and explains the whole thing. I love that theory, but the character himself,
yeah, exactly. If he would have had that, and he would have been one of the bad ones in the, Revenge of the Sith, the third one, then that would have been good. But yeah, his character, I'm okay with him not coming back. And Ahmed Best got to do that, the Jedi Temple show. So it's not like he didn't get to come back to the Star Wars world in some form or fashion.
Legends of the Jedi Temple.
So what's worse than reboots?
More reboots?
More reboots or prequels. Prequels of
some prequels
things,
are okay.
Yeah. Well, were you ever clamoring for a Rocky prequel?
No.
Well, Sylvester Stallone thinks that you are, because he's working on a prequel to one of his most iconic characters, Rocky. He's sharing a pitch in the form of handwritten notes. The project is clearly in the very early stages. It appears that despite Stallone saying the character is now retired, Rocky Balboa is coming back for one more round. He's trying to find he has a streaming idea for 10 episodes to get to the heart of the characters in their younger years. He's starting it out basically how Rocky got into boxing and developed his friendship with Mick, and then how he got to where he was at. So I don't know. You saw Rocky, you got to see his rise and all that. This isn't Cobra Kai and anything. And I feel like you got to extend the franchise by having Creed in there. Like, that was a good spinoff. But other than that, I don't think you need a prequel of Rocky.
Exactly. No, I was even going to say, Creed with Michael B. Jordan did a fantastic job in the 2 movies that he was in. If you're going to spin anything off, spin that off, make that a series. But we don't need a early Rocky story. I mean, there's been how many movies? 7, 8 movies about Rocky? I don't think anymore.
No, I think we're good there. So, but they are developing on it. So if you're a Rocky fan, well, it might be up your alley if it gets picked up, but not quite for me. And again, you can't even do really the spin-off of it because you already did it with Creed. So there's no need to go down that avenue again.
Exactly.
But, you know what movie does have promise? Thundercats. They're making a movie about it. So
they've been talking about this for decade now, and I'm excited after hearing the director choice.
Yeah, so director Adam Wingard has revealed that his Thundercats movie will be like the beloved 80s animated series coming to life. He said, so he developed Godzilla vs. Kong, and he has some details about his Thundercats adaptation, saying that he wants the audience to feel like they're watching the 80s cartoon. He does not want the movie just to be for kids. He's hoping to bridge the generational gap that will take on the humanoid cat aliens. What else does he say? Describing as a project as an adventure movie. It's pretty vague in this stage, considering the entirety of the original animated series is one of the greatest adventures that viewers have ever endeavored to go on. But the idea that Adam Wingard intends to take a lot of the inspiration from the Cherish series is sure to please Thundercat fans. The Thundercat property means a lot to Wingard, who went on to reveal that he has wanted to helm his own take on the franchise his whole life. This has been a lifelong ambition to do this thing. It's such an insane opportunity for me. And it's like, as soon as that's ready to go, I'm definitely going to take it. Wingard's Thundercat movies will be achieved through a hybrid of CGI and animation. And he's also on board to rewrite a previously commissioned script alongside Simon Barnett. So fans of Thundercats, which I think it's going to be great. So, and it looks like Wingard's also working on a Face-Off sequel right now as well. He wants to make it kind of like a lost John Woo film, which is pretty cool.
I had heard about that. Yeah. I think filmmakers are starting to realize that fans want movies that are close to the source material. So as long as he stays close to that, but makes it for the adult fans who grew up with it, the kids will enjoy it. Don't pander to the kids. Be like Marvel, stick to the source material and just make it a fun ride.
Yeah, absolutely. So as that comes along, we'll share more information, but that's it for your entertainment news. Let's roll on to your birthdays. They're kind of big today. All right. Actor best known for playing the role of Elliot Stabler on NBC's Law & Order Special Victims Unit. He also made his return to the show last night. Christopher Maloney is 60. He looks good for 60. Don't look that old. This gentleman plays Agent Phil Coulson in the MCU and ABC series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Clark Gregg is 58. This guy is known for playing Archie Hillcox in Inglourious Bastards, or maybe you just know him as Magneto in X-Men First Class. Michael Fassbender is 43. He's a young Magneto. And actor best known for playing in Game of Thrones. He was in Wonder Woman 84, but you just might know him best as Mando. Pedro Pascal is 45. Happy birthday, gentlemen. Enjoy your day. Also, happy birthday to our good friend Jenny Wink. It's her birthday today, too. So happy freaking birthday, everybody. That's your entertainment news and birthdays.
That does do it for the entertainment news. When we come back, we've got good news, everyone, so you won't want to miss it. We'll be back after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But
2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm going to do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Indeed. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show, and we are all over social media with many of you watching us as we speak on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Now, if you want to get a hold of me on social, I'm available at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Phoenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R, or on Instagram and Twitter at Fenix Media Radio. And Tony's available at facebook.com/Tony.Sanfilippo. That's SANFILIPPO.94, or on Instagram at Tony.Sanfilippo81. Now, being that it's Friday, and as we do on Fridays, we like to take you into the weekend on an up note. You know, there's so much bad news out there, vitriol, divisiveness, and you know what? We like to turn the tables a little bit with a segment I like to call
Good News, everyone!
So I'll go ahead and kick things off. These days, life is pretty sweet for Lily Bumpus, an 8-year-old who recently shattered a local Girl Scout cookie sale record, but it wasn't always that way. When the California resident was born with a rare form of cancer called Ewing's sarcoma in 2012, doctors told her family it would be a miracle if she survived treatment, let alone beat cancer. But Bumpus has always been a fighter, and she made it through 14 rounds of adult-strength chemotherapy and a surgery that removed a portion of her chest wall, all before her first birthday. Her mother, Trish Bauer, didn't know it at the time, but that surgery would eventually lead Bumpus to the Girl Scouts. Because of the opening of her chest wall that leaves her heart exposed, she isn't allowed to do any type of physical activities or sports. Lily tried cheer, dance, and swim lessons, and all of it put her in the hospital, Bauer told Today. So last resort, me being desperate to find anything for my daughter to do with other kids to simply feel included and to be a kid, I signed her up for Girl Scouts. When Bumpus was 5, her mother took her to her first Girl Scouts meeting, and she was instantly intrigued when the troops started talking about selling cookies. It was the last week of the selling season, but Bumpus was still determined to get involved. Lily sat and listened to all the girls say how excited they were for the gel pens and tie-dye kits that they had earned for boxes sold, and she asked if she could see the paper with the prizes on it. She turned it over and saw on the bottom, it said if she sold 5,000 boxes of cookies, she would go to Greece and Rome. She told me, "I'm doing that and going there, Mom," she said. By the next day, the 5-year-old had sold over 2,000 boxes, and by the end of the week, she sold over 5,000 boxes to earn her trip. And so her cookie empire began. Flash forward several years, and Bumpus found herself trying to sell cookies during a global pandemic this year. Since she wasn't able to set up a booth in public places or walk door to door to drum up sales, the 8-year-old relied on her strong social media following to spread the word. Over the years, Bumpus had created a pretty special community on her Facebook page through her Team Lily Foundation. Along with her family and supporters, the 8-year-old had spent years supporting other children dealing with cancer. She's delivered holiday care packages, thrown surprise birthday takeovers and cancer-free celebrations, and raised money for the funerals of children who lost their battle with cancer. And she's pretty inspired to use her platform as a Girl Scout to raise awareness and funds for cancer research. To kick off cookie season, the 8-year-old wrote a letter explaining how anyone who bought cookies from her would be supporting a great cause and help her achieve her dreams. She dropped it off at her local city hall, in laundromats, car washes, and other public spots where people were really likely to see it. My letter explains that when someone donates a $5 box through the cookie sales, that it will go to a kid fighting cancer, feeling really alone, or to someone that is homeless, she said. Soon, the orders started rolling in, and people from across the country and from other countries. And by the end of the season, Bumpus had sold 32,484 boxes of cookies. Part of that figure includes 5,200 donated boxes of cookies, which Bumpus plans to bring to the local hospitals. The 8-year-old troops has decided that a majority of the proceeds raised will go towards purchasing much-needed supplies to help with cancer research and feeding the homeless. What an inspirational story about an 8-year-old girl selling what was it? It was
it the Samoas or the Thin Mints?
Oh, Thin Mints for me, but she sold over 32,000 boxes of cookies, which is nuts. Wow. I mean, she's going to Greece 6 times over now.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
How inspiring. And that's what makes it my
good news, everyone.
Mine's not quite as sweet as that. That's pretty cool. But mine is heroic, kind of. No, it is. Lots of kids would say John Cena is their hero, but his work has led one boy himself to be a hero. Jackson Dempsey, he's 8, out of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, saved his sister Leela 20 months from choking after watching the popular wrestler and movie star explain how to do so on the Nickelodeon TV show The Substitute. During the episode, so while we were driving to get my haircut, I noticed she was starting to choke from a chicken nugget from McDonald's. Jackson told the news. I told my dad to pull over, then I was starting to pat her on the back and got it out. Jackson credited John Cena's appearance on The Substitute with giving him the tools he needed to spring into action. It's called The Substitute on Nickelodeon. In the very first episode, John Cena was on it, and on the last part, he showed how to save somebody when they're choking. The Hidden Camera series puts disguised celebrities undercover as substitute teachers to surprise students in classrooms, according to the show's description on Nickelodeon's website. Cena actually appeared on The Substitute during the 3rd episode of the first season in 2019 and put on the front of a CPR instructor with a long hair and bushy beard. Jackson's father, Matt, said the family is lucky Jackson knew just what to do. If I was by myself and Jackson wasn't with me and I stopped and gave her a chicken nugget, I couldn't hear her because she was choking. She wasn't coughing. She wasn't panicking. She just had no air going through. She wasn't breathing. So thank God Jackson was there, because without him, I don't know if Leela would be here today. So all from just watching a kid's show. He knew what to do. He was quick. He gave her the old pat on the back, and and saved her. So
that's awesome.
It's a good one. It's a short one,
right?
But it was a good one.
And all that goes to show that there's all the talk out there that TV shows these days, all they do is inspire violence, and kids pick up more on the things that they can learn. And I guess my only question with that is, after he saved her from choking, did he get in front of her and go, "You can't see me."
You can't see me? Yeah, I don't know if he did that, but that is pretty damn funny. So.
Still very cool. And anytime a celebrity is involved with a good cause, it's always fun to hear about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's Good News Friday. This is geeky, nerdy good news. But did you know that if you're an MLB fan, it's coming to Xbox and it's going to be free on the Game Pass on 4/20?
Hey,
as I'm scrolling, hey, that's good news for like geeky people like me. I'm like, dude, I was going to buy that game. I was going to actually go spend the $50 to buy it. But if it's on Game Pass and it's free, I don't have to spend $50. And that's good news.
There you go.
I'm going to the weekend happy with that.
Look at Tony with a duo of
good news, everyone.
Well, folks, we are headed into our break. When we come back, we've got a segment called Dog versus Cat People. You won't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks, and we've made it to the final segment of the first hour of this episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. But if you missed a portion of the show or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it's easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, about 20 in all. I just added Amazon as well yesterday, so that's another place you can get us. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review, let us know what you think, and tell your friends, because sharing is caring. Now, speaking of sharing, a article that I came across was a series of tweets of actually pretty hilarious tweets of cat people versus dog people. And it made me think back to a YouTube video from a few years ago called Cat Friend versus Dog Friend that humanizes the personalities of both of those. And it is spot on, the difference between cats and dogs. Just crazy, but there are truly dog people out there. There are truly cat people out there, and there are differences between the two. Now, Tony, I know you are a dog person. Obviously, I'm a dog person. I'm not a big fan of cats. Cats are kind of assholes, but have you ever owned a cat? Would you ever own a cat?
Yeah, I've had a cat when I was younger. Scratched me. My mom had to get rid of it because it clawed me like right over here. So I have a little scar from it. I didn't get along with cats as a kid, but I was kind of a little pain in the ass. I was like Elmira from from Tiny Toons. I was always trying to pick up the cat, and they're not like dogs. You can't just really pick them up and cuddle with them unless they let you. I was actually thinking about this when I was back in Carson this last weekend. My cousin has this cat named Jake, this black cat. Super friendly, just comes up and cuddles and then my friend Stacy's cat is like a little dog, like comes around, follows you around, looks at the window, and just super cool. So some cats are actually pretty cool. Mike and Lacey have a cat named Minnie, nice cat, but some cats are, like you said, they're assholes. Some,
right?
Would I own one? Probably not. They are self-sufficient for the most part, though, compared to dogs. Like you can go on vacation and stuff, and as long as they have food, and they have their box, they like to go in their box and stuff. But I don't know. So I meant normal. Sorry, Friday. I meant normal. You popped your screen up, and I read Minnie. I just was focused, so I apologize. Minnie is their dog. Yeah, screwed up the animal names. Minnie's awesome. She's like the little Monopoly dog. She's badass.
Very cool. Well, with that being said, let's run down some of the differences between dog people and cat people. Again, very spot on. This from Twitter user Simon Sinek says the difference between dog people and cat people: dog people wish their dogs were people. Okay, that makes sense. Cat people wish they were cats. I could see that. You get that definition of the crazy cat lady and, hoarding just tons and tons of cats. You would assume that she would want to be one of them if she could.
Right. It's one of the, so I was testing out cat sounds. I had it muted, so I had to wait till it played. So that's why there was a delay, because it was a long, like it said cats fighting. And I'm like, oh, that'll work. No, it's too long.
Well, let's move on. Cat people versus dog people. Twitter user Ali Colbert says, isn't it weird how we have 1 million dog breeds and everyone is like, ooh, I've got a golden doodle this or Chihuahua mix that. And if you ask someone what type of cat they have, they just say, it's an orange one. It's a black one. Tony, I think you muted yourself again.
I have to. I was trying to find a good soundbite, but they run too long. So
Tony trying to multitask.
Yeah. No, that's why I didn't unmute it. So
rolling on, talking dog people versus cat people. Twitter user Dennis Holton says, you don't hate cats. You just can't handle rejection. Yeah, it's true. Cats, if they don't want anything to do with you, they will let you know that.
Yeah. My friend Stevie and Jeff's cat, Elwood, loves Stevie. And, but that cat just wouldn't go near you. It would hiss at you all the time. And, when I was married and we were roommates with them, that cat used to stare at us and then would crap on things and take off. Yeah.
And it goes back to what I was saying about that YouTube video. And I'll even post that up on our Facebook page so people can check it out. The personality is just perfect, the way that they humanize these, the dogs and the cats. So moving on, cat people versus dog people. You'll notice I'm only playing dog sounds because I don't even have a cat sound. That's how much not a cat person I am.
I'm trying, like I said, I was trying to find a cat to offset your dog, but some are very inappropriate. So I'm like, ooh, can't play that.
Don't even worry about it. This one from Twitter user Woke Drug Guy says, dog people are like, this dog costs $3,000 and it's hypoallergenic. Cat people are like, I found this cat in an engine. It's true.
It's true.
Everywhere.
Saves you money.
Yeah, or you go to the grocery store and, people have just a box full of cats and they're giving them away. The whole reason that there are, feral cat trap and release, what they do is they grab these cats, they neuter them, then they send them back out into the wild because they procreate like crazy.
Yeah, they do. They like to get around. Kitty!
All right, moving on, dog people versus cat people. This one may be a good, compelling reason to have a cat. Twitter user Soren Bowie says, I don't believe anyone is exclusively a dog person or a cat person because each animal serves its own important function. If you want a loyal friend who trusts and loves you implicitly, get a dog. If you want to know where the ghosts in your house are, get a cat. Tony, you muted yourself again.
Sorry. They like to, they definitely like to, they stare off a lot.
Well, or they're staring at ghosts, and I was pretty convinced you had a ghost in your room there yesterday.
Yeah, my stomach was killing me. Oh my God, yesterday was brutal. That damn Philly cheesesteak sandwich did a freaking number.
Oh, totally.
Oh, dude, it was rough going to work. Like, that was painful.
Yeah. But if you had a cat, obviously it would prove that there wasn't a ghost there. Anyway, let's keep moving on. Dog people versus cat people. This from Twitter user Paper Beat Scissors says, dog people hate cats, cat people hate people. That's true,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially when you go back to the stereotype of the crazy cat lady.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Let's keep moving on. Dog people versus cat people. Twitter user Wanangim Art. Boy, that's a hard one to say. Dog people be like, this dog was more expensive than my car. Cat people are like, this cat entered my house and now I belong to him. Yeah, you don't own a cat owns you. I mean, that's just the way it is. And if they wander onto your property, well, they're pretty much there for life now.
Well, and if you feed them, they keep coming back. We used to have a cat that would show up at our back door, and my mom would give him some food, and every night, same time, would come back by. We would never let it in the house, but we'd come to the back door, and then that happened at my aunt's house this weekend too. The neighborhood cat would come stare and tap at the window to try to get Jake's attention. Jake is their cat, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a black and red, sort of a brindle cat that lives between our two houses here. And we have a lot of quail in the area, and quail are dumb as shit. And inevitably every morning you'll go out and see just like a little tuft of feathers somewhere where the cat must have gotten its meal for the day. Other than that,
yeah, cats, they can catch some things, man. Birds, they're really good at getting the birds.
That they are. And when they try to bring you presents, there's all sorts of things. Now,
mice,
yeah, I was going to say our dog, our late dog, Marley, she was great at catching critters and would bring them back as presents, mostly lizards, obviously based on where we live. Let's keep moving on, talking cat people versus dog people. Twitter user Mara Wilson says, someone says dogs are assholes. Dog person, you're an asshole. Someone says cats are assholes. Cat person says, yeah, pretty much.
They're not wrong. I don't think dogs are. I mean, some dogs can be, but dogs typically they're not. They're friendly. Like most dogs will come right up to you, sniff you, lick you.
And that's the thing, most dogs, they just want to please their owners, please others. Even dogs that tend to be aggressive, they're doing it because they think that they're protecting something. So,
right.
But for the most part, I mean, that's for the 95% of dogs that are friendly. There's that 5% that get the bad rap.
Right. Sorry, responding there.
All right. Let's keep moving on. Cat people versus dog people. Twitter user Comedy Central, I think I've heard of them, says at least cat people and dog people can bond over how much they hate people.
People?
I'm a people person.
You're a people.
But they can all agree. Let's keep rolling on. Dog people versus cat people. Twitter user Shower Thoughts says, growing up, we were led to believe that cats and dogs are mortal enemies, when really the rivalry is just between cat people and dog people. And as we've seen from, the selection here, that's pretty much true. There is a sort of a hard line that, we were talking about divisiveness in the U.S. Could it be stronger with cat people versus dog people, or the left wing versus the right wing? Who's to say?
Yeah, it's weird because like at Mike and Lacey's house, Minnie, their dog, Minnie freaks out. Like if I could be wrong, which cat? It's not Pixie, but I think it's normal. One of the cats leaves, and she'll chime in. I know. When one of the cats leaves, she's worried. Like, where's the cat? And she'll pace like by the couches. Well, at least at their old house, she would pace back and forth because like the cat wasn't there. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and let's keep moving on. I think we've got time for one more. Dog people versus cat people. Oh, this one from Twitter user Lucy Huber says, dog people, my dog is my child. Cat people, my cat is a fully grown adult human being that I invited to live with me and now is somehow in charge of my entire household. I think that perfectly sums up what a cat is to most people. But in any case, folks, that does it for not only this segment, but the first hour. We are headed into our long break. And when we come back, we've got our call-in topic of the best April Fool's pranks. So listen to the news, take a potty break, grab yourself some tea. Join us back here in about 7 minutes, and we will see you then.
Meow.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How do you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the multiverse of pop culture entertainment. To explore our complete lineup of quality programs, head over to phoenixmedia.us or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio.
Feature Story News in London, I'm Nina Maria Potts with the latest world news. A train carrying some 350 people in Taiwan has derailed inside a tunnel, killing at least 48 people. Dozens remain trapped as rescuers race to release them. Dozens more have been injured. Several carriages inside the tunnel were badly damaged in the crash. Reports on the ground say the train hit a construction vehicle that appears to have slipped onto the railway tracks, although it's not clear how or why that happened. The train was headed to the city of Taitung from the capital city Taipei and was carrying passengers to a local annual festival. There are questions over whether the train was too full. Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, who leads a caretaker government, has narrowly survived a vote of no confidence. The vote was over his behaviour during government coalition talks. He's accused of not speaking honestly during the talks about moves to sideline an MP. India's daily new COVID-19 infections are at their highest in 6 months as the country added 81,466 fresh cases in the past 24 hours alone, according to data from the Health Ministry. The country's total caseload is more than 12.3 million infections, making it the third worst affected country after the United States and Brazil. Rebecca Bundan reports from Mumbai.
More than half of the new COVID-19 infections in India were recorded in one state, Maharashtra in western India, which is where Mumbai is located. Mumbai alone reported more than 8,600 new daily cases, its highest one-day spike. Authorities say that the rising numbers are due to many people not following precautions such as social distancing and wearing masks. Some medical experts believe that new variants of the virus have a role to play. Mumbai currently has a night curfew in place in an effort to reduce the spread of the virus.
Officials say a section of the Tokyo Olympic torch relay scheduled to be held in the city of Osaka will be cancelled. The announcement comes after the prefecture reported 660 new COVID-19 cases on Thursday, surpassing Tokyo for a third day.
The Olympic torch relay kicked off in Fukushima Prefecture at the end of March. It is set to travel to all 47 of Japan's prefectures in a 121-day event, but officials in Osaka say they are concerned over coronavirus transmission. Crowds have lined roads to watch the relay in other parts of the country. Authorities are expected to formalize the decision and notify the organizing committee for the games. The city of Osaka is in the midst of a fourth wave. Daily cases are approaching the previous peak of 654 in early January. The Japanese government announced on Thursday that new countermeasures will be imposed in Osaka and 2 other prefectures for 1 month starting April the 5th. The measures were made possible by changes to Japan's infectious disease laws in February, granting designated regions greater powers. Phoebe Amoroso, Tokyo.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke. When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you? What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this business.
Welcome back, folks, to the second hour of this episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, April 2nd. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. Still joined by my co-host, Mr. Tony Sanfilippo. Tony, are you ready for the fastest hour of the day to close out our week?
Sure am, man. Let's go.
Right on. You know, it's we're headed into the long weekend. Wanted to remind everybody again that we will be taking Monday off. We'll be playing a best of. And, that way we can enjoy the Easter holiday with our friends, with our family, and, just take that little extra time to recuperate, get back here with a full slate of shows starting next Thursday, keep them entertaining. And that way, you guys get the best of us when we can give it to you.
And there you go.
Exactly. Well, folks, this is the interactive portion of the show where we want to hear from you guys, the listeners and watchers, on our topic of the day, which is why we give it 24 hours in advance, asking you to call the Fenix Line at 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RADIO. Or you can always chime in live on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. Just click into the live video there and comment. And then in the next segment, of course, we will be opening up the Stereo app, doing a little stereo roulette, but you can join us there live, chat with us. What we're talking about today is your favorite or the best April Fool's prank that you've ever pulled or have ever had pulled on you. Now, we are talking with the king of April Fool's pranks, my co-host, Mr. Tony Sanfilippo. For years, every year, you would pull a big one that people fell for, hook, line, and sinker. Why don't you fill us in on maybe a couple of the better ones that people believed you on?
Yeah. So nowadays I can't really do it because everybody expects me to do one. So I don't post anything. There is, if anyone's listening, I'll let them in on a little secret. So one of my friends, I didn't even plan it with her. To me, this is actually one of my favorites, and it just happened yesterday. One of my friends that I used to work with and mentors, she tagged me in a post, or she went to my Facebook page and congratulated me on getting a position in Florida. For those that don't know, I have been kicking around moving to Florida for reals, as well as back home to Nevada. Like, that's legit truth. That's not joke. Well, I had kicked around putting in for this spot in Tampa. I had reached out, people around me in my inner circle, yada, yada. But some people knew there was rumblings of it. Well, I was getting all these text messages and they're like, tell me it isn't true. Congratulations, I'm going to miss you. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it's, I'm getting like, oh my God, Florida is so far, but you're going to do so great. And I'm like, did I get traded to Florida and I didn't know about it? Like, does Costco now trade people? Like, did I get dealt? And I didn't know what was going on. So I just played it off. My instant reaction was, yep, I'm going, thanks. And I just played it off. I had no idea what the joke was. So I went to Facebook. Apparently I got a spot in West Palm Beach, Florida. And, so right now there's this big back and forth where people are like, this is not true. Tony always does these jokes. And then she's the one that was like, no, he really did. He's really going. And she set it all up, and it's just flipping awesome. Like, I kept it up all day yesterday. People are like, that's not true, is it? And I'm like, yeah, I just been keeping it quiet. So that one, since that just happened yesterday, is really good because I can't do them anymore. I started out with the MySpace days where I look back now, I probably shouldn't have done this, but at the time I thought it was funny. But when I was with Cassie, I said we were pregnant. And oh God, like in hindsight, looking back, she did have, like, she's struggling with her appearance and weight and stuff. And if you do that, people are going to be like, oh, you're pregnant. Congratulations. And that's not very good. Yeah. So I didn't think about it at the time. I just thought it was funny, but she used to get really pissed with those, but people bought them. And then the one where I was the elaborate Sandy Beach girlfriend, where I was in a relationship, I was able to tag it, and I was in a relationship with some girl named Sandy Beach. And where did she live? Like, I forget where she was from, but it was pretty elaborate, but that one was pretty popular. So there's just a couple, but yeah, I'm always looking to do jokes. But yesterday I didn't do any of the jokes on anybody. I was very just normal, but thank you to my friend Kelly for putting that out there without me even teaming with her. So
yeah, just part of it.
Well done.
April prank.
Well done.
And I got to say, I even fell for one yesterday. I'm usually on high alert when it comes to April Fools, but there was a tweet that went up from Spider-Man No Way Home about a new teaser footage that came out. And so I was all excited, went over to the tweet, clicked it. Of course, they had the title card up there. And then, of course, they informed me that I was the victim of an April Fool's prank. And, it's the way it goes. And, when it comes to things like that, unfortunately, I guess I fell for it. So that is what we are talking about. April Fool's pranks, the best one either you've pulled or have had pulled on you. When we come back, it is all about you guys. So go ahead and chime in on our Facebook page or join us on the Stereo app at stereo.com/Fenix Media. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes. And when we come back, it's all about you. Don't go anywhere.
Behold my process. Ooh, let me tell you something right here. It's the Loot Crate subscription box, full of exclusive loot, fun surprises delivered to your door every month. Just pick up your favorite geeky genre, Daddy. From the original Loot Crate Dex collectible boxes, dude. Cowabunga! Through the Loot Gaming video game box. Woohoo! Yee-hoo! Wowzers! With crits starting as low as $11.99 per month, there's a box just about for all collectors. To get your geek on, head over to phoenixmedia.us/Loot Crate and claim your exclusive offer. That's FENIX.us/Loot Crate. Great Scott! Snap into a Loot Crate, dig it?
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at fenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show, and we are smack dab in the middle of the interactive portion of the show where we want to hear from you guys, the listeners and watchers, on our topic of the day. Now, if you want to chime in live, head over to facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. Click into the live video and comment there. Or in just a little bit, we're going to open up the stereo app, do a little stereo roulette, and you can chat with us live at stereo.com/Fenix Media. The topic of the day is the best April Fool's pranks that either you have pulled or have had pulled on you. We heard a couple examples of some of the great ones that Tony has pulled over the years. Unfortunately, he can't do it anymore so much that people have grown.
They took away the fun, man.
Yep, they've grown wise to it, but I'm sure that there's a way that you can maybe for next year do something that is maybe a little bit different.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, especially if you do it every year. There was, I did think about posting. I was going to go to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They're opening a new store there. I thought about mentioning that, but I did that a few years ago with Pflugerville, Texas. I said I was moving to Pflugerville, and I checked in there and the whole nine. And
who doesn't want to live in Pflugerville, right?
Yeah. My friend Stevie actually ironically went to be the receiving clerk at Pflugerville. So I would have known someone.
Hey.
It's a little suburb outside of Austin. It's actually pretty. So
very cool.
Believe it or not. So, but yeah, it gets hard, man. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I've loved it since I was a kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out to little things. Do you ever pull any?
You know, was never big on the April Fool's pranks. Now, my boys love it. Now, they didn't do anything yesterday, but in the past, they've done things like, change out the salt for the sugar, you know, all of the classics. They've never put saran wrap on a toilet seat, thank God, which could be just gross and messy, but they enjoy them. Unfortunately, they didn't participate yesterday. Yeah,
it's kind of hard. I think you have to, if you do a lot of them and people expect it, you kind of have to either lay the seeds early or you can't ever really post big news on the day of, right?
Exactly.
People they just don't buy it. You know, this one is the one from work was pretty elaborate. Now I got people wanting to see like the transfer paperwork. So I'm like, well, I could still make that happen. I could make this a ongoing joke for like a week, but we'll see how much energy and time I have for it. I don't really have a lot of time for that stuff, but
and in your case, it's best if you go dormant for a couple of years on April Fools, and that way you come back in a big way. People aren't expecting it anymore. So
yeah.
In any I keep saying in any case. It's Friday.
No, it is Friday.
Has gotten to a point where it's checking out. But
this is the part you're having a cat segment that I had.
Right.
You know, where it's just like I kept muting, and you know why I kept muting is I had my laptop in front, And then I have my keyboard right under it for the main Mac. And every time I was typing meow, it would mute the damn thing. And that's why it was muted all the time. It was like, because once you hit the M, it mutes. Anyways, I digress. This is the part where it's all about you guys. This isn't about us having an off day or anything. This is where you want to hear who's chimed in on my part, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay. All right. Jamie Anna chimed in and she said her roommate and her used to bring sweets they'd bake to work every so often. On April Fools, they made caramel apples with onions and just sat back and watched as people started coming on for their shift. It was great because as people were fooled, it was just more of us watching the next victim. They'd go take a bite and it's an onion instead of a caramel apple. And they're like, oh, this is great.
Oh.
That's pretty sad. That would be awful. I hate onions. That would, while it is a funny joke, I would not want to be on the other end of that joke.
Still hilarious, though.
Yeah. Mike and Lacey do not like it, so they have no April Fool's Day jokes, but they did share that Tenacious D tweeted yesterday that Kyle Gass quit the band. So they announced they were done. And then later last night, they said it was just a misunderstanding and decided to get back together. So.
And Jack Black, I would assume, pulls something every year. I'd love to. I just follow him right around April 1st.
If you're funny and you do jokey things, like the April Fool's Day is like, it's hard. It gets harder and harder, especially with social media. In the early days, it was easier to do. It's easy to say you're moving. Like I remember one, that was all that chimed in, by the way. So I'll stretch before we go to radio roulette. There was one year I tweeted I was moving back to, or tweeted. I didn't tweet then. I posted that I was moving back to Carson. Yeah. I was moving back to Carson City, and my aunt gave me my grandma's house. My sister was so pissed. Like she was crying. She called me and she goes, why do you get everything? And she was mad. And I go, dude, do you know what day it is? And she goes, no. She goes, but I just don't get why you get the house. And I'm just, whoa. It's April Fool's Day, dude. Like none of that's true. No one gave me a house. I'm not moving to Carson City. I'm not moving to my grandma's house. But that was another one of those because you have to shake it up every year. But I think I've had a girlfriend. I've moved a bunch of times. I've been promoted. I think I've quit Costco once. I've kind of used the big guns, right?
Exactly. Now you just got to hold on to those again.
Well, and in this day and age, you can't do certain things, right? Like I can't come out and say, I can't say I'm one thing and I'm not, because people will be like, if I'm not, it just might offend someone. So you got to be very careful on certain topics. But but it was very good. But I agree. Mike and Lacey chimed in and said, April Fool's was good before the internet ruined it. Now it's kind of fun to watch other people do it. And like I said, yesterday's with Kelly's was just, that was a good one. What Kelly set up yesterday was awesome. It made me smile and happy because people were buying this thing that I had nothing to do with. And all I knew how to do was sell it. Right. So I sold it and I didn't even know what I was selling until later. I had to read and see what I was selling. I was moving to California to go be a voice actor. That's why I was quitting Costco.
That's right.
That's what it was. Thanks, Friday. Yeah, that was awesome. That was a good. See, I've had good ones, just not lately.
Yeah.
So,
And in the age
older, you kind of suck at it.
In the age of the internet, I did pull one on my boys yesterday. They're actually on their way to Nashville for spring break with their mom today. And yesterday I sent them a thing that said, oh my God, guys, did you hear about the flooding in Nashville? And send them a link to a video. And then the video pulls up and it's, breaking news. And then it goes into never gonna give you up.
Oh,
never
nice.
Let you down. Rick rolled them.
You Rick rolled them. Good job, man.
Yeah. Corbin simply replied back with, I hate you.
Yeah.
He doesn't hate me, but
no,
nonetheless.
Well, this will be good. Well, I'm interested to see what we have in the roulette.
Yeah,
this is my favorite part. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what we're going to get. And caution, there might be some F-bombs and stuff. Who knows? We don't know what we're going to get.
Yep. Stereo app is like a box of chocolates.
I'm excited. Let's dip our hand in the bag of poo.
All right. Let's go ahead. Well, boy, we're starting off early with people who Join and then leave. All right. How's it going? You're on the Kristian Fenix radio show. You are not. All right. You're on the Kristian Fenix radio show. How you doing today?
Not so good, man. I'm so fucked up.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well,
you said a bad word. You get real.
Run, bitch! Run!
Time to exit that one.
Yeah, moving on. You're on the Kristian Fenix radio show. How you doing today?
Old-fashioned games.
Old-fashioned games. Hello, little lad. What you playing? Oh, you playing some Super Mario Brothers or maybe a Legend of Zelda there, hey, chap?
Mario Bros.
You're playing Mario Brothers? Oh, my. That's dirty language, little man. Ote, bye-bye.
No.
He's just a mumbler. He's just a mumbler.
Weird.
How you doing?
I don't think that I'm
we caught him in the middle of a rap. All right.
Yeah. Well, he's taking a crap.
How's it going? You're on the Kristian Fenix radio show.
Guess what? You won nothing.
Apparently, we are the victims of the April Fool's pranks today because we are just not getting anybody worth their weight in salt at this point.
Let's see.
Here we go. All right. How's it going? Nope. Let's try this again and again. Let's
Come
try this.
Come on, Australian girls.
You are on the Kristian Fenix rate. Boy, it must be a Friday thing. How are you doing today?
Yes.
All right.
I'm doing good. Wanna eat some beef curry?
Oh my God!
So we are talking April Fool's pranks. Yesterday, obviously, was April Fool's. What is the best April Fool's prank you've either pulled on somebody or had pulled on you?
I just shot my mom on the head.
Whoa!
No, not funny.
Wow.
How about you try my beef curry? It's fresh from my pants as I make doo-doo in pie.
Wow. Oh, let's keep moving on. Boy, weird ones today. How's it going? You're on the Kristian Fenix radio show. Or not. Boy, we may just strike out. This might be a first. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. So we're talking April Fool's pranks. You were, yesterday was April Fool's. What is the best prank you've either pulled on somebody or had pulled on you?
Let me see. Like, for me, I don't do like April pranks, like April Fool pranks, but I know like some good ideas.
Let us know what
good ideas for April. Okay, let's see. So like you get like one magnet and like a cup of coffee.
Okay.
You place the coffee on top of your car. You put a magnet inside the coffee, and then you just drive. A bunch of people will be like honking their horns at you, trying to like let you know that your coffee is still on top of the car.
You know what? That's actually a really good one. I may have to try that next year, but we appreciate you chiming in. Drop us a follow, and hopefully we can have you again at a future show.
Sure, totally. Peace out.
Thanks, man.
Right on. All right. Well, I think that was a good way to cap things off.
Yeah, you had at least one. That's all you could ask for. Yeah.
And one really disturbing one.
Yeah. Hey, try my beef curry. I took a poop and shot my mom. Yeah, not good.
Well, folks, that does it for this segment. When we come back, the G-Man is going to be joining us talking NCAA March Madness Final Four preview. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm going to do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. We've got a little thing we talk about in the show. This is the Fenix Line, our 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever, including our call-in topic of the day. Now, as we mentioned, we are taking Monday off for the holiday weekend, and so keep an eye on our Facebook page for Tuesday's call-in topic. But if you want to do so, head over to the Fenix Line or give us a call on the Fenix Line at 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RDO or 855-336-4973 for the alphanumerically impaired. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together, put them out in a future show. Now, in this segment, we've invited the G-Man back, as we do on Fridays, as we have been doing on Fridays throughout this NCAA March Madness, to talk about, this week, the Final Four preview. And let's go ahead and hit that intro music for the March Madness. G-Man, how's it going today?
Good. How's it going, brothers?
Hey,
Good.
G, what's up, man? Good to
Miss
have
you, Tony.
you. I miss you too, bro. It's been a while. Been enjoying the segments though when you're on, even though I mysteriously disappear every week except this week.
well, that's part of
Weird
your
how
allure.
that works. Yeah, disappear.
Before we get into sports, I've been listening to the program this morning, and I have to hand it to you guys. You've really expanded your diversity. You're bringing in, alleged murders that blow their mom's head off. That was kind of wow.
Yeah,
That was
That was a bit much. Yeah, that was a bit much. Yeah.
You know, and then with you, Tony, and your pranks, you know, I have to say, you know, that the one where you pretended that your ex-wife, I think it is, you know, was pregnant. I'm surprised you're even alive.
Yeah.
You know, after that, dude. You know, that's death stuff there.
I was in my 20s on that one, and I tell you what, looking back now, it's not something I would ever do. But back then, I was like, "What? It's funny." It's kind of not funny, but at the time it was. So, well, but yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised I'm alive too on that one, to be honest with you.
It is a good thing that she's the ex-wife now.
Yeah. Well, maybe that might have been the seeds that led to that. I have no idea.
Yeah, she definitely put a little mark on the cave wall on that one.
Yeah. You weren't getting out. That was a forever tick against me on that one for sure.
So let's get to NCAA March Madness. Earlier in the week, we had the Elite Eight. How did you fare in those matchups? And then, we'll talk a little bit about the Final Four, the two games this Saturday, and what the betting odds look like on those.
Yeah, as always, man, I tell you what, at this point, I think we have 66 games in the last 2 weeks, from the play-in games or something like that. So I tell you what, it's things start to kind of blend in, after all of these games. The way that I fared, I actually gave a little bit back, to the casino, not too much this last weekend. There were, of course, a couple of upsets, but, UCLA, I tell you what, that one hurt me. I got Michigan at a really good number when, they were UCLA was ahead. And of course, if you watch that game, the last 5 minutes, the things that had to happen from a drought standpoint from Michigan, missing free throws, layups, and all that stuff, they did not score in the last 5 minutes. And so hats off to the Bruins. I don't want to take anything away from them, because that's why you play the games, and they were playing defense and they were making it difficult. And the anxiety probably came into play, being that number one seed. But if you look at the bracket, the Final Four bracket, you have two number ones, a number 2, and the number 11. So most of the time, by the time it gets to the Final Four, you're going to be having a 1, 2, 3, maybe sometimes a 4 seed, will sneak in. But this, what can you say? That's why they call it gambling.
Yeah.
And so going into this weekend's games, I think I have a pretty good plan for a nice little 2-teamer we'll talk about.
All right. Yeah, and I think UCLA might be the closest we get to a Cinderella story in the modern March Madness era, being an 11 seed versus a 1 seed. Of course, Gonzaga destroyed my USC Trojans in the Elite Eight. So they're going to be a tough matchup, but let's head over to the first matchup of the weekend, Houston versus Baylor. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time Baylor's gotten to the Final Four since something like 1955.
Yeah, something like that, 1954, 55, somewhere. It was back when the Lakers were the Minneapolis Lakers.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been.
That's
wow. So good for them. It's not easy to get there. And they have continued, to get there, the very balanced, team. They have size. They are fast. They've got almost all the guys, but definitely their top 2, 3-point shooters, have been killing it, so Baylor, has definitely got their fan base, in a frenzy.
Oh, I'm sure, people are excited. Baylor's a smaller school. They typically don't have a big football program. So them getting to the Final Four in basketball is about as exciting as it gets for that program.
Yeah, and especially speaking of football, you had the Coach Bryles thing, a few years ago, and so right. The campus is kind of recovering a little bit from, especially they're a Baptist school, you know what I mean. So that was some stepping on some moral, low ground. Let's put it that way, for them. So, but it speaks very good to their sports program, their AD, the student body, and of course the recruits that come from out of town that are wanting to be part of a solution.
Awesome. Now, paired up against Houston, how do you see this one playing out, and where do you sort of put your pre-tip-off bets?
Well, again, so man, I tell you what, Houston has impressed. Baylor has kind of played true to form. Of course, they in many brackets they are picked to reach the finals against Gonzaga, and so that being said, this is the first time that Houston's been to the Final Four since the Kim Olajuwon days, 1984, oh, wow. And Clyde Drexler and things like that. So talk about two teams that are matched together that haven't been there in a long time. That's a great storyline. And watching these guys, Houston, man, I tell you what, back in the day of the high slamma jamma, with Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler, stuff like that, these guys can move the ball. They get up the court. I mean, you make a layup, boom, that ball's out, thrown down like a long touchdown pass. And sometimes the ball doesn't even touch the court. So when you have a team like that can move, and when you throw in the fact that they are probably, I'll research this, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're the top offensive rebounding team in this tournament. So they're getting these second shots, and it's keeping them in there. So that being said, I'm going to take those points. I'm going to go ahead and, from the beginning, I'm going to pre-bet this. I'll buy the hook up to 5.5. And let's see what happens at that point. But I'm going to go ahead and take the points with Houston, and hoping for a close game. And if they win the game, I would not be surprised.
And especially with one like this, in play, I'm sure plays a huge factor into it. But we've got about 2 minutes left in the segment. So let's hit up the other matchup. Again, we were talking about UCLA devastating the Michigan fans against the number one Gonzaga, who at this point I think is favored to win the whole thing. How do you see that one playing out?
Well, I see it playing out where I'm going to have two angles on this. The first one is Gonzaga. Every single game, they have been coming out every single game without exception, the first four, and they're just killing it. First half, I mean, they're covering the spread. They're up by 20, 30 points. So I'll probably put a first half bet in, on Gonzaga. And then if I hit that Baylor bet, I'm going to roll it all over into Gonzaga for the game, because I think the clock is going to strike midnight on Cinderella, in this one. They're very fortunate, to be here to this point. And this is the proverbial David versus Goliath. And I think Goliath is going to smash.
Now, do you put a couple bucks on UCLA just in case they pull it out? And I'm sure those odds are hugely, if they do win, in their favor.
Yeah, I would probably, as a contingency plan, I would probably rely on something in play. If something's going wrong, the second half of the game and they're getting close or something like that, I may bang it, while they're getting points. But, this one, I'm probably just going to roll the dice and go with the convictions that I have before the game.
Well, it's going to be a pair of great matchups tomorrow on Saturday. And then Monday is the final, the championship. We see who the final two teams are, which will be very exciting. College basketball at this point is always great. G-Man, again, we can't thank you enough for coming on, talking about, betting sports with us. And of course, we're going to find other ways to bring you in as other sports start to open up. And of course, as football comes back.
Yeah. We got the draft coming up too, which is awesome. So
I've been tuning in on that.
Yeah, your Niners moving on up, man. Who you think they're taking at 3?
Man, I mean, as you know, everybody's saying Mac Jones, which, it's easy. Should I say easy? It's easier to look dominant when you have the talent that Alabama has. Let's put it that way. So a little bit concerned with his lack of mobility. Of course, the number one statue quarterback of all time won another Super Bowl last year. So I don't know how much, that means. But, hopefully they'll do a good job. And, I think they're going to take Mac Jones from all indications. It seems like a Shanahan and Lynch move.
Awesome, man.
And sadly, there's never enough time. I mean, we could talk draft for hours, and we'll figure out a day to have you come back on maybe pre-draft, and we can talk about how those look and who may be going where. But folks, be sure to follow the G-Man on Facebook at the G-Man, and of course, find his band Seedless Tendency online as well. And they're back to doing some shows. So, G-Man, much appreciated. We are headed in the break, and we will see you all after the break. See you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man.
See you.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky. Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks, not only to the final segment of the show, but the final segment of the week. We're excited to get the weekend started, long holiday weekend. And again, a reminder that we are doing a best of on Monday, so we will have a brand new show on Tuesday. Now, if you missed a portion of the show or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it's easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix radio show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts. Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, Doozer, Dozer, Geezer, Gozer.
Are you a god?
Oh, Darth.
Whiny Vader doomed us all.
Yeah.
While you're there, folks, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review. Let us know what you think. And tell your friends, because why, Tony?
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, which is why we do this segment each and every day, closing things out, drop a little knowledge on you, hopefully make you laugh at the same time. It is time for This Day in History.
Crossing the globe for the stories that turn the world on its head. It's This Day in History with your correspondent on the beat,
Kristian Fenix.
Thanks, Siri. All right, kicking off This Day in History. This day on 1416, Alfonso V succeeds his father as King of Aragon. I thought the King of Aragon was Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
My precious, to the Carlton. Yes.
Not unusual. All right. Let's keep rolling on this day. In 1513, the OG Florida man, explorer Juan Ponce de Leon, claims Florida for Spain as the first known European to reach Florida.
Ooh, Juan Ponce de Leon.
Oh,
Florida.
it's for you.
So you're saying I've been to Spain? No.
What was originally claimed to Spain, yes.
Yes. Spain. I've been once, twice, maybe 3 times.
Let's keep rolling on. This day in 1800 is the first performance of Ludwig van Beethoven's First Symphony in C. My favorite of his first symphonies.
Yeah.
Which was your favorite?
My favorite was the when he was the Koopaling with the blue hair. Since Mario died now, you know. It was from this vintage game called Mario Brothers 3.
Had that magic wand.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I couldn't tell you what the titles are. Like, if I heard something from him, I'd be like, yeah, I like that. Like, he had some good stuff. I just don't know what they're called.
Well, what was even more impressive was that, especially by the end of his life, he was completely deaf and still composing music. He was basically sticking his head on the piano and just listening to the vibrations. And that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and what's crazy is the sounds are great and everything, but the names are crazy. First Symphony in C.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's keep rolling on. This day in 1877, the first human cannonball act performed by 14-year-old Rosa Matilda Richter, known as Zazzle, at the Royal Aquarium in London. We talk a lot about, how a lot of circus acts of the old are passé, especially the ones involving animals. I would like to see somebody shot out of a cannon, though.
Yeah, how awesome was that? Zazie!
Let's keep rolling on. This day in 1912, the Titanic undergoes sea trials under its own power. It floated just fine. Running into things, not so much.
Yeah, nope. We're coming up on that day. I don't know if we'll be doing the show that day. It crashed. Maybe we will, because it'll show up on that day in history, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure it will. And wasn't it its maiden voyage that it sunk?
It was, yep. Only went out once, and it didn't even make it all the way.
Ooh, bummer. All right. Excuse me. Let's keep rolling. This day in 1917, Jeanette Rankin begins her term as the first woman member of the U.S. House of Representatives. I talk often about, I love seeing the firsts, the first woman to do this, the first African-American to do that. And it's just a shame that it didn't happen earlier in our histories, but good on her for being the first.
Absolutely. And she's rocking a wicked good garden hat.
Yeah, she is. Let's keep rolling. This day in 1921, Albert Einstein lectures in New York City on his new theory of relativity. God, that guy was smart.
He was insanely smart. He was Sheldon Cooper before Sheldon Cooper.
Exactly. He's one of those people I'd love to go back and just have a 20-minute conversation with. I think he was a little socially inept from what I've heard about him, but brilliant nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's keep rolling on. This day in 1931. Here's something that you would expect to see a movie made out of, and I never knew this happened, but a 17-year-old girl named Jackie Mitchell strikes out New York Yankees stars Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig in an exhibition baseball game at Engel Stadium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's amazing.
That's crazy. Being a big baseball guy, I've never heard of that.
I hadn't either. And again, somebody needs to make a movie about that. Was she, a hometown hero for a period of time? Because again, 2 huge names.
Massive, man. That's crazy.
Also crazy, this day in 1932, Charles Lindbergh turns over $50,000 as ransom for his kidnapped son. Of course, things went awry. The son ended up being murdered as a result of it. But it was the only thing in the news in the 1930s.
Yeah. Oh, awful. The Lindbergh baby kidnapped. And on top of that, he turned over the money. He was fine paying that. Because $50,000 in those times was massive.
Yeah.
Even more so. So
And they intended to turn the kid back over, but something happened and kid ended up dead, unfortunately.
No, that sucks.
Well, you know what doesn't suck is a movie
What?
from 1968 that was released today, back in 68. 2001, A Space Odyssey, directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Keir Dullea and Gary Lockwood. It premieres at the Uptown Theater in Washington, D.C. Groundbreaking movie. Stanley Kubrick, great director. A little slow in parts, but one that has to be seen, especially if you're a movie fan.
Right. And it had the Ric Flair theme music.
Actually, it had its music before Ric Flair.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, he stole that music for his theme, but
that's all right. Iconic music. I mean, absolutely iconic. All right, let's keep scrolling down here. Here's one for Friday. This day in 1992, Mafia boss John Gotti is found guilty of 5 murders, plus conspiracy to murder, loan sharking, illegal gambling, obstruction of justice, bribery, and tax evasion, and is the subject of one of the worst movies ever made, starring John Travolta.
Oof. Yep, and look at him smiling, his mugshot. He's just so happy.
Well, and I think you nailed it on the head. It's his smug shot, not his mug shot.
Smug shot, yeah. Dee-dee.
Moving on, this day in 1995, WrestleMania 11 in the Hartford Civic Center. I remember this one. NFL linebacker Lawrence Taylor defeats Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, that was not a good match at all. No. But you know, it was obviously for the time to have a football player take on a wrestler. And yeah, I remember Salt and Pepper were there.
Oh, that's right. I totally.
Yeah, they sang him in. Yeah, geeky old wrestling news. Yeah.
WrestleMania, you always got those gimmicks of people from other sports coming in or from Hollywood or whatever it was. You know, I think we talked about a couple of days ago, WrestleMania 1 with Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
Mr. T. Yeah, this year Bad Bunny is wrestling in theirs. Oh. Yeah, Bad Bunny. That's where they're at now with the
hard pass for me.
Yeah.
And then finally this day in 2010, basketball superstar Kobe Bryant signs a 3-year contract extension with the NBA's Los Angeles Lakers worth $87 million. Another person we lost far too soon. His talent was amazing. Yeah. He was inspirational. And he had a little bit of a sordid past as well, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Sad that happened. What's neat is he just never went to another team. He stayed on the Lakers the entire run.
Exactly.
Because nowadays you see everybody go jumping ship left and right. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
I mean, you even saw Jordan in a few uniforms. So.
Yeah. Well, let's run down some of today's holidays before we head out for the day, where we talk about the things that we like to celebrate. For instance, today is Good Friday. If you are a Christian, it is
Good
Hospital
Friday.
Admitting Clerks Day. It is International Children's Book Day. It is International Fact-Checking Day. Just make sure you get your facts right. It is National Love Your Produce Manager Day, National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day, National Ferret Day, National Walk to Work Day, World Autism Awareness Day, Reconciliation Day, and Student Government Day. Folks, that does it for our shows for the week. Again, we are taking off Monday. We will see you all on Tuesday. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.